today we're talking about another one of my favorite notes. It is sandalwood. And I have a lot of fragrances that include the note of sandalwood, especially in the base. However, when I went to look for the ones that were predominantly sandalwood, I could only find really 8. And so today what I'm going to do is talk about those 8 fragrances. And like usual with these note sort of videos that I'm doing, I will be ranking them from my least favorite to my most favorite, but I have to say I really enjoy all of these. Once again, I think really most of them are loves. There's a couple likes towards the bottom, but these are all fragrances that actually the vast majority of them I've had for a long time. There's only a couple that are really, well, maybe a few that are fairly new to my collection, but the other 5 I've had for a really long time. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to begin with my quote unquote least favorite, although I do really enjoy this fragrance. This one is from a house that I don't really hear a lot about on YouTube, but they are available in places like Sephora, so they're pretty easy to get a hold of. This is from the house Phlur, so their bottles look like this. And this one is called Hanami. So Hanami was created by Nathalie Benaroux, and this one is a very soft fragrance. Let me just go ahead and spray it here. But the reason why it is kind of in the lowest spot is because it doesn't last a super long time. It is pretty light. It's fairly simple, but I still really like it. And in fact, this is a great fragrance to reach for when I do want something that isn't really going to project a lot, just going to make me feel like I smell really good, not going to be offensive to anyone. But this one, I get sandalwood and fig are kind of the 2 things that I get from this one. So it's definitely creamy. You get kind of that creaminess because it's more of a, well, there's a little bit of brightness from a green sort of fig maybe, but the sandalwood definitely gives it a creaminess here. I think this is also supposed to have maybe some florals and hazelnut in there. I can get the florals. I don't really know about hazelnut, but I can definitely pick up some fig and of course the sandalwood. I do think that this is a great, just really light, refreshing style of sandalwood. And it's really good for the summertime because some of these fragrances that I'll talk about today can be quite heavy and would not be appropriate, or well, I personally wouldn't want to wear them in the summertime anyway, but that's just me, and it gets really hot here in the summer, so I think some of these can be a bit cloying. Anyway, that's my number 8 pick. It is Phlur's Hanami. In my number 7 spot is another pretty easy to wear sandalwood fragrance. This one is not this particular bottle, but this fragrance is something that I've had in my collection since, I want to say 2004. I'm pretty sure that's the first, that's the year that I first started wearing this, which means that I've worn it off and on for a very long time. This is called Armani or Emporio Armani Lei, or she in English. It's referred to as both. But anyway, this one here was discontinued quite a while ago, I think, but they just recently brought it back. I have not tried the new version. This is an old bottle, so I can't really tell you if the new version smells the same or not. But just so you're aware, it is available and you can buy it. This was created by Sophie Lebay, and this one, like I said, is a pretty easy wearing style sandalwood. In the opening, I actually get a brightness from lime, or at least it smells like lime to me, and I also get some really clean white musks. I think there's a bit of heliotrope in here. Obviously there's sandalwood, and then there's some sort of a slightly spicy tonka thing going on. There are probably florals, other woods, things like that as well, but in the opening, like I said, it's this really nice, bright lime and musk sort of combo. A clean musk, not a dirty musk whatsoever. And then it goes more into that heliotrope sandalwood tonka kind of thing. I really enjoy this. It's, like a fresh, woody style fragrance. And I have, a lot of good memories from this one. Yeah, like I said, I've worn it for a long time, off and on, but there was a particular point in my life where this was pretty much the main fragrance that I was wearing. So this one, of course, does have a nostalgic quality for me. Even though I'm not that sentimental of a person, it still, with smell, takes me back to certain times and places. And I really enjoy doing that sort of mental time travel, if you will. So that's my number 7. It is Giorgio Armani's Emporio Armani She. So I just realized the next 2 are also very nostalgic fragrances for me, and ones that I've had or smelled for a really long time. And if you've watched my channel for quite some time, you're probably familiar with both of these, but you might already be familiar with the story behind this one. In the number 6 spot is Anna Marie's Anna Mori. And I currently have the Parfum concentration, but I used to wear the EDP predominantly. I've never really cared for the EDT as much as either the EDP or the Parfum. Those two are more similar to me. But anyway, so this fragrance, as you may know, is one that I used to wear on a lot of dates, especially to a place in Chicago called the Underground Wonder Bar. It was a place that I, would like to take dates or have them, go there with me because I loved the environment so much. They had like live jazz, blues, reggae every night of the week. They were open until 4 a.m., 5 a.m. on Saturdays. It was just like, it literally was underground. Like you have to walk underground and it was like, dimly lit, dark, kind of a little bit sultry, but also like a little bit of a party vibe. But then very cozy too, with like candles and things like that. They didn't serve any food. It's just drinks. But I figured, I love that place so much. And if I took a date there and they didn't just have a fantastic time, then they weren't the one for me. So anyway, obviously there are many other factors that would go into whether or not somebody would be right for me. However, that was just kind of a nice little litmus test. If you didn't like the Underground Wonder Bar, we couldn't get along. But anyway, so this is one I wore there quite a bit. I got a lot of compliments on it, not just from the guys that I was on dates with, but also like from people who'd worked there that probably smelled it on me a lot. I had a lot of friends that worked there, got a lot of free drinks, which was also nice. So this was created by Bernard Elena, and it's definitely a fruity, woody kind of fragrance. I get like berries, black currant. There's of course the sandalwood. I think there's a bit of ylang ylang in here, and it has like a little bit of like an almondy kind of vibe, like a powdery almondy vibe to it. It is sweet, just to be very clear, because like I just mentioned, it has like the berries, the black currant, although black currant's not that sweet, but the berries make it sweet. It is a sweet fragrance, and I think that's why I don't reach for it as much anymore. I don't tend to go for like the super sweet fragrances as frequently. And I think also it is that nostalgic thing that makes me enjoy smelling it, but maybe not wanting to wear it as much anymore because it does really embody a particular time period in my life. So anyway, that's Anna Mori. I think it's nowadays it's really cheap. It's like 20 bucks or so. But I think it's a great cheapie if you're interested in a sweet, fruity, woody style fragrance. Next up, we have one that has to be included in any sandalwood list. I mean, I guess as long as somebody owns it, but I feel like a lot of people own this fragrance. This is from Guerlain, and it is Samsara. I talked about this recently in my Guerlain video, which I will link somewhere around here. But this is one that my mom wore when I was young, and so that's the nostalgic sort of connection here for me with this particular fragrance. I love it. I do wear it some myself, but not as much, partially because I do have that kind of attachment of this fragrance with my mother. But this one, it was created by Jean-Paul Guerlain, and obviously in addition to the sandalwood, which is a big player here, I get a lot of ylang ylang in this. I know some people don't necessarily love that note, maybe it gives them a headache, in which case I would never wear this around them. But I do quite enjoy it myself. I also get like some vanilla kind of vibes in here, a little bit of like a tonka ambery kind of thing going on. But I think that the ylang ylang and the sandalwood are the two main stars here. I mentioned this in my previous video when I talked about this, that I do think it's worth getting the old version that comes in the bottle like this, as opposed to the new one. I did try the new version that comes in the B bottle, and it's still good. It's still good. So if that's all you can get, or if it's not affordable to get one of these wherever you are, it's still good, but this is better. It's more powerful. I think the sandalwood comes out more in this one. And yeah, I just really enjoy it. And this is an EDT concentration, but this lasts all day and it projects. So don't be fooled by that. This is the one you need. All right, next up in the number 4 position is one that's a little bit newer to my collection. I just picked this up last year in 2020. This is from Atelier Cologne, and it is called Santal Carmin. And look at this bottle. Isn't it amazing? I love this. So this is a limited edition bottle. You probably can't get this anymore unless you find it secondhand. They did this for the Chinese Lunar New Year, but the normal bottle looks like pretty much all the other Atelier Cologne bottles do. This particular fragrance was created by Jerome Epinette, which I believe somebody recently claimed is their perfume boyfriend on my last video, so well done on you, that's a great choice. So this one is a very spicy style of sandalwood fragrance, at least in my opinion. I get a lot of the saffron in here. There's also vanilla that comes out more in the dry down, but that opening is very much about the saffron and the sandalwood. I think that there's also probably some other types of wood in here, and I think there's musk. I get a little bit of musk, but like I said, that opening is like saffron, sandalwood, all in your face. And then as it kind of progresses and dries down on your skin, then that, you know, nice sort of fullness from the vanilla comes out, a little bit of other, like kind of, like I said, woody types of players come out. And I can get the musk right away, I think, but that tends to come out a little bit more on my skin as well. So this one is just a real pleasure to wear. It's a bit unique compared to some of the others that I have because of that strong saffron note in here. And I personally really like saffron. I know not everybody does, but I do. And so, yeah, I just enjoy wearing this a lot. And of course, the bottle is nice to look at as well. In the number 3 position is the newest fragrance to my collection. I just picked this up maybe a few months ago now. It's from the Prada's Olfactofiles collection, specifically the Mirages line, and it is called Soleil Zenith. And again, these bottles are stunning. I love them. I do think that in general, the Olfactofiles collection is really great, but the ones that come in these blue bottles called the Mirages, they're especially fantastic. They're really special. Of course, these were all created by Daniela Andrier, and she, as you will know, is one of my favorites. This particular fragrance, I was a little bit nervous about because I blind bought it. And I would say that here there are 3 notes that stand out to me the most. And those 3 are, of course, sandalwood, but also peach. And this is another one that I get a lot of ylang ylang in. But the peach really stands out. Like, this is very much a fruity fragrance again, but still with a strong sandalwood component. I know that most people love a, you know, nice juicy peach, but I struggle with peach as a note. There are some fragrances that feature it that I really like, and there are a lot of fragrances that feature it that I do not like at all. So in this case, I was really nervous to blind buy this because I thought, oh, this is risky, but I had such good luck with other fragrances from this line. And like I said, I am a big fan of Daniela. So I figured, you know what, let's just go for it. We'll try it out. And I'm glad I did because I really love this fragrance. It is sweet because of that peach note. But I think, you know, in the winter time, fall, winter, even into early spring, I don't think it's like too sweet that it's cloying. I do think though that this could get cloying in the summer. Now you'll notice on the bottle here, hopefully if I don't blind you, that it says spices. And so that's really what's supposed to be the dominant thing going on here. And I definitely get spices in there, but to me, like I already said, those aren't the main players. Now, when I smell this, I think it's probably cinnamon, I don't know, maybe cinnamon, nutmeg, that kind of thing going on. Like I said, to me, it's mostly about the peach, the ylang ylang, and the sandalwood. The spices, in my opinion, are a bit of an afterthought in this fragrance. They're there to add some interesting character to it, but if you were thinking about getting this to be like a very spicy style fragrance, you might want to look elsewhere. Because like I just mentioned a second ago, Santal Carmin to me is much spicier than this one is. So just depends what you're looking for. Either way though, I still really, really love this one. Again, it's called Soleil Zenith, and I think that it's great if you're looking for a nice sweet sandalwood kind of combo. All right, we are now to the top 2, and this next one I had to order from Javoy Paris because these are not available in the United States. So again, another blind buy, but I was pretty confident I would love this one, and in fact I do. This is from L'Orchestre Parfums, and it is called Piano Santal. And the cool thing about this particular house is that they have like an actual composition, like a piece of music that's been written and performed that you can like go into YouTube and listen to that matches each fragrance. And I do think that in general, they've kind of done really well with pairing kind of the mood or the vibe of the fragrance with the particular song that they composed for it. So that's pretty cool, and I really enjoy that. Would be a great gift for somebody who is really into music, of course, you know, even if they're not that into perfume. I think that the value for these isn't too bad, given the price and the fact that, is it 100 mils or 75? Yeah, it's 100 mils. So I don't remember the exact price. I know it's less than $200, maybe closer to the 150 mark. So for a niche fragrance, not too bad. And this is just this great milky sandalwood. Oh, it's so good. There's the milkiness, like it literally has a milk note. There's, I think, again, musk, maybe a bit of ambroxan in here, and that creamy sandalwood. This is so nice. And I will say, because I know some of you have mentioned you have skin like I do, where sometimes milky kind of notes that have like a lot of lactones, like the lactonic sort of thing going on, they can go sour on your skin, and that often happens to me. It does not happen with this one. So I don't know exactly why, like perhaps it's a different, you know, raw ingredient that they're using, whatever it is, natural or synthetic, I don't know. But I will tell you that this one is a milky fragrance that does not turn sour on my skin, which is much appreciated. I really enjoy this. It's so cozy. It's so inviting. And it just kind of feels like it envelops you when you wear it. So again, that one's called Piano Santal, and it's from L'Orchestre Parfums. Sorry, peeps in the United States, these are a pain in the butt to get. So now we are to the #1 position. And again, if you've watched my channel for quite some time, you probably already know what it is, either because I've mentioned it before or just by process of elimination, knowing kind of what I have in my collection. In the #1 spot is a fragrance from Tom Ford, and it is called Santal Blush. And my God, this bottle is beautiful. It makes me really sad that they got rid of this bottle. So if you were to go buy this nowadays, it would come in like their traditional like dark brown sort of Tom Ford bottle. I'm kind of wondering if they've done that because this fragrance really is a unisex fragrance. However, I will readily admit that this particular bottle, although beautiful, probably appeals more to women than it does to men. And so I'm kind of wondering if they ended up rebottling this in the dark brown to try to boost sales so that men would also buy it just as much as women do. I don't know. Maybe it's just cheaper to put it in the brown ones. Maybe there's something else, you know, behind it. But that was just kind of my thought process, because I do think this, you know, would appeal a lot to women. However, I want to smell this on a man because Santal Blush is sexy. So Santal Blush was created by Jan Vasnier, and this again is a really creamy, so good. It's a really creamy sandalwood. Has spices, has like a warm sort of vanillic benzoin kind of thing going on. And then I think this one has musk and cedar in it as well. But oh my God. So sexy. Like I have like an actual physical reaction to this one. The first time that I got a decant of this, like quite some time ago, got a decant of it, I sprayed it on, and I was just like, like, oh my God, like the sheer pleasure that was on my face the first time I smelled this would have been like something that I wish I could have recorded. But it was in the car. I was just driving. Don't do that. Don't spray and drive. But that's what I was doing because I got it in the mail, but I was like getting the mail on the way out of the house. And so I like ripped it open and I sprayed it on in the car, and I was just like, oh, I was just amazed. I love this fragrance. Like I said, I think it would be amazing on a man. I personally like wearing it. It makes me feel very sexy. So of course it works well on women too. But yeah, one day, I'm gonna spray this on a guy and it's gonna smell really good. So that's my #1 pick, Tom Ford Santal Blush. And if you can get this old bottle, go for it because it is really, really pretty. All right, so those are my 8 sandalwood predominant fragrances ranked from my least to my most favorite. But now I want to hear from you guys. What are some of your favorite sandalwood fragrances? I know there are a lot out there that I don't have in my collection, so I would love any recommendations that you might have, things you think that I will really enjoy. I do love sandalwood in general, so I probably will like a lot of sandalwood-based fragrances. And of course, I can't own them all, but you know, I definitely have fewer here than I did with like my rose or my iris video that I did. So, you know, there's probably room for some more. So definitely leave me your recommendations down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. I hope that you all did like this video, so please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.